The hidden cost of simple favors. Why protecting your energy is non-negotiable. Let's talk about something that might make you pause and reconsider a few things. Have you ever agreed to do a favor for someone, a quick errand, a harmless lie, a small loan, and walked away feeling oddly heavy, mentally exhausted, or even resentful? On the surface, these things seem minor, acts of kindness, no big deal, right? But what if I told you that many of these requests, the ones dressed up as casual or no pressure, often come with invisible strings attached, strings that quietly tug at your time, peace of mind, and self-respect. This isn't about becoming cold-hearted or refusing to help others. It's about recognizing when you're being subtly manipulated, guilted, or emotionally cornered into saying yes to things that quietly chip away at your boundaries. We've all been there. Someone asks for just a little help, and you agree because it feels easier than saying no. Maybe you don't want to seem selfish. Maybe you think it'll earn you goodwill or approval. Or maybe, deep down, you're afraid that setting boundaries might cost you a relationship. But here's the truth. When you consistently say yes to things that don't feel right for you, you're not being kind. You're being complicit in your own burnout. Favors that cost you more than time. Here's something worth reflecting on. When someone asks for a small favor, what are they really asking for? Sometimes it's time. Other times it's your energy, your honesty, even your values. Consider the request to bend the truth. Maybe someone asks you to cover for them, to tell a white lie, to keep something quiet. It seems harmless enough, but something inside you feels off. That discomfort you feel, that's your integrity tapping you on the shoulder, reminding you that even small lies are still lies. Stoic philosopher Epictetus believed that integrity is one of the few things in life we truly own and must protect fiercely. Every time we compromise that, even in the smallest way, we aren't just doing a favor, we're betraying ourselves, and the danger doesn't stop there. Carl Jung, one of the fathers of modern psychology, spoke of the shadow self, the parts of us we repress, hide, or deny. Each time we say yes when we want to say no, or lie when we long to tell the truth, we feed that shadow. And over time, it grows stronger, influencing our behavior in ways we may not even realize. The courage to say no. It takes strength to say no. It takes clarity to recognize when someone is using your kindness as a convenience. And it takes real courage to refuse to betray your own values, even for the sake of keeping the peace. You don't have to be rude. You don't have to justify yourself. A calm and honest statement like, "I'm not comfortable with that," or "I value honesty, so I can't do that for you," is enough. It sends a clear signal. You are someone who values your truth more than temporary approval. And here's what's powerful. When you set boundaries like that, the people who truly respect you won't be offended. They'll appreciate you more. The ones who get upset, they were never looking for a favor, they were looking for control. Money and boundaries, the unspoken tension. Let's talk about another scenario that plays out in many relationships. Money. It could start with someone asking to borrow a bit. $10, $20, maybe more. You help out once, then twice, then suddenly it's happening often and without much conversation about payback. You find yourself feeling awkward, maybe even resentful, but you don't know how to bring it up without causing friction. This situation, while common, is more than just an issue of dollars and cents. It's a test of your boundaries. Stoic wisdom, particularly from Seneca, teaches us to value virtue above material wealth, but it also reminds us to practice discernment and moderation. Generosity without wisdom is not a virtue, it's self-neglect. If helping someone financially starts to feel like a burden, it's not generous anymore. It's a silent agreement to carry someone else's responsibilities at the cost of your own well-being. The solution: clear communication. You can be generous and still have boundaries. You can say, "I'm happy to support you, but I also need us to be clear on expectations," or "This is the last time I can help financially. I hope you understand." You don't owe anyone more than what you're genuinely able and willing to give. Living with integrity, the Stoic way. Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher king, often wrote about the importance of truth and inner harmony. To him, living with integrity wasn't just about being moral, it was about being free. He believed that when your actions align with your values, you walk through the world lighter, more focused, more at peace. Choosing honesty, protecting your energy, and standing firm in your values might not always make you the most agreeable person in the room, but it will make, if you find value in what we're discussing here, a simple free way to support us is to hit that subscribe button and don't skip any part of the video. Each piece of information could be the key to unlocking deeper insights into human nature and your personal peace of mind today. How should you respond? Respond with clarity and integrity. A statement like, "I'm not comfortable taking responsibility for something that isn't mine," is not confrontational. It's respectful, honest, and sets a clear boundary. It reinforces that you're someone who values truth, both for yourself and for those around you. This isn't just about protecting your peace, it's about promoting a culture where honesty, responsibility, and personal growth are encouraged. When you hold others accountable, you're not shaming them. You're expressing belief in their ability to face the consequences of their actions and learn from them. Virtue requires courage. The Stoics believed virtue to be the only true good, and that includes courage, justice, wisdom, and moderation. All of these virtues are summoned when you decide not to carry the burden of someone else's mistake. Standing firm in your truth might cause friction in the short term, but it reinforces the kind of character that others can truly respect, even if they don't admit it immediately. Respecting your own time and energy. This concept extends far beyond blame. We've all experienced that familiar situation, a friend, co-worker, or acquaintance asking, "Hey, can you just help me out really quickly?" The task always seems small, but before you know it, you've spent your entire afternoon troubleshooting their problems, finishing their tasks, or offering services that should have been paid or at least acknowledged. What's framed as a harmless favour often becomes a habit, one where your time, energy, and skills are expected without appreciation or reciprocity. Suddenly, you're no longer a supportive friend. You're a resource being passively exploited. Boundaries are not selfish, they're self-respect. Epictetus taught us to recognize the difference between what we can and cannot control. One thing that is always within our power: how we spend our time and where we invest our energy. When we allow others to make those choices for us, especially at the expense of our own values and priorities, we sacrifice not just time, but our autonomy. That's why it's essential to respond with something like, "I'd love to help, but I need to be mindful of my own workload right now." Or, "I'm happy to support, but I also value my time and skills, and I can't always offer them for free." This kind of communication doesn't make you selfish, it makes you conscious. It reinforces fairness, mutual respect, and balance. It's a reminder that your contributions have value, and your kindness should not be mistaken for endless availability. Jung and the hidden consequences of people-pleasing. Carl Jung would likely warn us of what happens when we constantly override our needs to keep others happy. Every unspoken resentment, every favour done out of guilt rather than generosity builds in the unconscious. Over time, these unresolved feelings feed a shadow that can grow into burnout, bitterness, or passive aggression. The very relationships we're trying to nurture may eventually be poisoned by the emotional toll of unspoken frustrations. Final thought: you set the standard. Every time you say no to misplaced blame or unreasonable favours, you're saying yes to self-respect. You're not only guarding your energy and integrity, you're also teaching those around you how to treat you. And that lesson is far more valuable than any task you could have taken on for free, or any falsehood you could have shielded someone from. Boundaries don't push people away, they filter out those who never truly respected you to begin with, and they make room for deeper, more reciprocal relationships built on honesty, accountability, and mutual regard. Let me know if you'd like this formatted for a blog, a script for a video, or a carousel post. I can tweak the tone to match any platform. When helping becomes self-betrayal, boundaries, integrity, and the wisdom of saying no. Sometimes the line between being generous and being taken for granted is painfully thin. You might offer a helping hand once thinking it's no big deal, but before long that hand becomes an expectation. What was supposed to be a gesture of support slowly turns into a habit of self-sacrifice. And when this pattern continues unchecked, it doesn't just drain your time, it chips away at your sense of being valued. The power of naming your needs. When you clearly express your boundaries and communicate the value of your contributions, you don't just protect yourself, you define how others are allowed to treat you. Friends or colleagues who genuinely respect and value you will understand. They might even thank you for your honesty, but those who respond with guilt trips, frustration, or persistent requests, they may never have truly respected your limits to begin with. Setting boundaries, then, isn't just a matter of self-care. It's a way to test the quality of your relationships. It separates those who see your worth from those who only see what they can take. What Stoicism and Jung teach us about giving Stoicism doesn't suggest we shut ourselves off from others. Marcus Aurelius and Epictetus often wrote about helping, but with discernment. As Marcus said, we should act with a reserve clause, a mindset that reminds us we control our actions, not the outcomes. We help not out of compulsion, but from a place of intentionality. So the next time someone asks, "Can you help me out, just this once?" Pause. Is it really just once? Or is this part of a pattern where your kindness is assumed and exploited? If helping aligns with your values and leaves you feeling good, not used, then go ahead. But if you're left feeling drained, frustrated, or unappreciated, it's time to reassess. As Carl Jung might argue, repeatedly saying yes when you mean no can awaken a shadow side of yourself, one filled with suppressed resentment and eroded self-worth. Over time, that shadow leaks into how you see yourself and how you show up for others. When you're always the safety net. In workplaces or social circles, there's often someone who repeatedly asks others to clean up their messes. Maybe they miss deadlines, drop the ball on commitments, or expect others to take the heat for their mistakes. At first, helping might feel like the right thing to do, being a team player, showing compassion. But when these favours become routine, you're no longer just helping. You've become their safety net. You're enabling avoidance. And as Epictetus warned, we should be cautious of allowing others' actions to compromise our own moral integrity. Boundaries as acts of respect. Saying, "I can't cover for you this time," isn't rude, it's responsible. It sends a clear message. You're accountable for your actions, just as I am for mine. This isn't just about protecting your time, it's a gesture of tough love. It encourages others to grow, to take responsibility and to stand on their own. And it honours your own energy, values, and sense of justice. Of course, holding your ground isn't always comfortable. People might push back. They might accuse you of not being a team player or a true friend. But as Marcus Aurelius reminded us, the right thing is often met with resistance, and that's exactly why it's right. Risk without reciprocity. Sometimes it's not just about doing someone a favour, it's about being asked to take a risk while they sit on the sidelines. Maybe someone wants you to sign off on something risky, or speak up in a controversial situation, promising they'll back you, but disappearing when things go south. This is more than a red flag, it's a warning bell. Stoicism teaches us to act with wisdom, courage, and a sense of justice. Jung reminds us to confront the unconscious motivations that lead us to self-sacrifice. When someone asks you to take a risk they wouldn't take themselves, they're asking you to compromise your values for their convenience. Ask yourself, why am I saying yes? Is it fear? Guilt? The need to be liked? Confront that shadow, and then respond with something like, "If we're not both in, I'm out." It's a simple, powerful way of establishing reciprocity. If someone wants you to invest, they should be willing to invest too. Self-respect isn't selfishness. So tell me in the comments which of these signs have you been seeing in your life. And if you're ready to step into your best self, don't forget to like, subscribe and turn on notifications, because trust me, you don't want to miss what's coming next. Your future is waiting. Now go claim it.